Hello, it's Richard at Richard's Guitars. I'm in my storeroom, and I'm on my comfy sofa. I've got a sofa in my storeroom for whatever reason. Um, I'm today's today's video is really an update to say that I am no longer doing G&L guitars. I've done a video previously a couple of years ago, nearly a couple of years ago. Can't believe how long that was. About maybe 18 months ago, explaining about the problems that I had at that time. The problems were about the owners. I think I know it's BBE Sound who own G&L guitars, and their kind of really poor attitude towards not caring about the UK market or what, not caring about me trying to supply their guitars between one distributor stopped distributing at Christmas, and then it all went like a black hole. And I had customer after customer after customer asking me what was going on, and the owner of G&L didn't feel it was reasonable to just give me any information whatsoever at any point. And the only time that they contacted me back was whenever I copied in a customer who was basically accusing me of being unprofessional in not giving them real information. So I would copy in the customer, and then I get a really nice, polite email explaining the latest update, which was just a fudge, But it kind of showed what contempt they had for me personally, that I didn't get a reply. But if a customer, an end user, got to be copied in, they'd get a reply, which was very odd. But it gave me an insight into the workings. Anyway, so this is on my. Oh look, look. It's my guitar. Look, look. This just shows you this. This shows you how much I actually do rate some of these vintage guitars. That is my. That's my little Telecaster that I use at home. Just because I just want something cheap and affordable, and something that's in my storeroom. So I use that in my storeroom at home. So anyway, without boring you to death, ever since we've had any availability of stock of G&L guitars, the quality has just been completely, I'd say disastrous, just totally frustrating the whole time. Some of the parts are obviously there. I mean, everything that I've ever said about a G&L is true, but the way in which they're preparing them and sending them through is just pathetic. And it's got so bad that what is now no longer going to be the current distributor, because they're moving the product on, which is why I've decided just to call it quits. But when you have somebody who you trust implicitly, and I won't mention the name because I just don't know the legalities of what I'm saying, because so often you've got to be so careful about what you actually talk about. But when you've got somebody who's absolutely involved in that product, who benefits financially if I buy them, telling me to just, not buy them, but in fact, please buy them, but I'll do everything I can to make sure you get a good one. This is what it boils down to. We will make sure you get a good one. Focus on me. So it shouldn't boil down to that, should it? When it's a £400-500 guitar, we will do everything we can to make sure you get the best one available. So I've kept quiet because publicly I've been sort of, it's not right to upset the apple cart, and you're working with people, they're your friends, they're people you want to do the right thing by, and you don't want to rubbish something that they're involved in. But now basically I've been told that it's got to a point where it's not really worth, I presume, their hassle dealing with it. I'm like, that's it, it's done. So I want to know, at what point did G&L become as sloppy and arrogant as Gibson? Because that's basically what it all boils down to. What I've been witnessing has been no better than the days when I was, supplying Gibson guitars. And it's a relief to not be having to focus on it anymore. And the excitement I have since making that decision to not supply them anymore has been amazing, because now I'm going to be focusing on Gordon Smith. And as a result, I've had a chat with Doug at Gordon Smith, and they've offered to start building me classic S's, shall we say, classic S's. And I've explained to Doug that, look, I don't want to be involved in selling £400-500 guitars that should never be in the condition that they are. I would much rather support a British guitar builder producing just classy guitars, just crazy off the scale quality, for a few £100 more. And not everybody's going to have a budget for a few £100 more. And I appreciate that, but I know that if I just invest my time and energy into a project that I love and I feel passionately that they are on the same track as myself, that's where my time should be going. And I'm not going to chase G&L. There's Fret King, which I'm doing, and I'm not going to try and turn this into a sales pitch, but I've been really impressed with the Fret King guitars, and that's going to be a separate video. And it's true, I wouldn't have even been looking at Fret King if I hadn't been so despondent with G&L. That's true, because I am so busy that I don't need to be exploring new guitars, new avenues. But when you've come to a point where you realise that actually this avenue, my Strat style guitar isn't what I think it is, I have to start thinking, well, what other options are there out there? And Trevor Wilkinson's designs, both with, you'll see on my website, there's Italia. By looking at Fret King, it's opened up Italia. I'm doing Dan Electro as well, but and importantly, Fret King. Italia and Fret King really have blown me away. And that's a separate situation. So there you go. The G&L no longer in my shop, and that's after 23 years of selling G&L guitars. Things to look out for. I will write you a list. And the amazing thing is, I think I know where these guitars are going to turn up, and the irony is just so funny. My industry. My industry makes me laugh. I mean, it kind of makes me want to cry, but it makes me laugh how shallow my industry is. But you're going to see G&L. I don't know yet, so I've got to be careful what I say. But I think you're going to see G&L guitars for sale, not in independent specialist stores, but you're going to see them in basically the kind of shops which you would expect to see volume sales, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of mind blowing, and I think that their angle is going to be that it's going to give them some kind of angle against Fender guitars. And I think there's some kind of war going on. I don't know. I think there's some kind of weird sort of like weird battle going on in the background, which I'm not sure about, and I'm not going to be. I've said more than I probably should already. But watch out for around about the heel, when you go between the neck and the neck socket. Try doing your bends. That focus on looking for if you're looking for a G&L guitar, play it at the sort of around about the 15th fret. Try and do a 3 fret bend, 4 fret bend. Largely enough, you will have severe choking around that area. It's an area that we have to do an awful lot of work on the frets around that area. That's been one of my bugbears. Another area is on the Telecaster style guitars, the classic T. The way in which they centralize the way in which they put the pickups and the bridge in is they sort of screw a hole. I've been told all about it. Why the neck? Basically, you end up with a neck alignment that's wrong so often, and even on the ones that we were getting that were better, the neck alignment was still not really right. So you end up with the thin strings coming off the edge of the board, or the bass strings coming off the edge of the board, and that neck alignment also affects the pole pieces, your strings aren't going over the pole pieces. And that kind of problem is caused by a manufacturing kind of system that because of the way those guitars are being manufactured and they refuse to change the way they're manufactured, you have this inherent problem in that guitar. So whenever you're buying a classic T, this is a problem that is, you can kind of like, you're playing the game of percentages. And thankfully to the distributor, they would minimize that problem that I was having, but it was inherently a problem for them and a problem for anyone now buying those guitars if you don't go through a proper quality control. So I'm gonna, I'll list out this stuff and I'll make it very publicly known how I feel. However, on a personal level, it feels good to be Gordon Smith. Yes, Gordon Smith. Okay, so there you go. That's it. Bye bye, G&L. And I forget the guy's name at BBE Sound, the owner of BBE Sound, but thanks for ignoring all my emails. Thanks for the pain, but I'm moving on. Okay, bye.